Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, February 9th. We have all you need to know about new COVID-19 policies for THON 2022 and the decreasing of population growth in the U.S.
We also have more on the merging of two downtown State College businesses, along with entertainment, sports, and weather.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Max Kuegler. Recent reports show that a Penn State student has been suspended from the Acacia fraternity after allegedly assaulting a nurse at Mount Nittany Medical Center. Seth Bolenbach was charged with one felony count of aggravated assault, one misdemeanor count of simple assault, and a summary citation for purchase of alcohol by a minor. Admitted to the medical center for an alleged alcohol overdose, Bolenbach was being strapped down for a CT scan when he, quote, became violent, end quote. Once free, Bolenbach struck a nurse across the face. Bolenbach is now scheduled for a preliminary hearing on February 16th in the office of Magisterial District Judge THON.
For this year's THON weekend, there are new mitigation efforts in place against COVID-19. Participators aged 2 years old and up must include proof of full vaccination against COVID-19 or show proof of a negative test result no later than February 16th. In addition, masks will be required to wear at all times, regardless of vaccination status. There are over 16,000 Penn State student volunteers who aim at providing emotional and financial support to Four Diamonds families by spreading the mission of THON and childhood cancer.
Penn Township unanimously decided to adopt a 100% clean energy plan by 2050, becoming the second Center Region municipality to fully commit to renewable energy for its municipal operations. With this decision, Penn Township joins 40 other communities in Pennsylvania and more than 180 nationwide. 2/3 of all emissions in the region come from energy consumption, making it one of the largest costs for the municipalities. According to the resolution, renewable energy costs are becoming competitive with non-renewable energy sources, along with the energy transition expecting to have positive economic benefits on Penn Township.
A Center County man who admitted to illegally possessing 5 improvised hand grenades is alleged to have planned to make a video shooting game a reality. This was revealed Thursday in U.S. Middle District Court by Assistant U.S. Attorney George J. Rockeshell when reviewing the government's evidence against 24-year-old Mitchell Ochtermullen of Bellefonte. Ochtermullen did not dispute the prosecutor's summation and pleaded guilty to a charge of possession of unregistered firearms. He purchased numerous firearm components with the intention of altering or creating rifles for him and another individual to carry out robberies in the State College area. Center County adult probation officers arrested him on October 29, 2020, when they observed drug paraphernalia and gun parts in his home. He remains detained pending sentencing.
2 downtown State College toy stores are to be merged at the end of this school year. Lindsay Williamson, who has owned Animal Kingdom since 2012 and The Growing Tree since 2019, has thought of a merger like this for, quote, quite a while, end quote. Although Williamson has owned these 2 stores for several years, these businesses have been open in State College for much longer, with The Growing Tree tracing its roots back to the 70s. The newly merged toy store will be located at 202 South Allen Street, the current location of The Growing Tree. Both locations will remain open until after spring graduation week. Can we finally expect some warmer weather temperatures this upcoming week? Chris Lemo has the answers in tonight's week weather update after the break.
Definitely a very warm day today. We hit around 50 degrees in State College, the warmest probably since earlier in January, maybe even into December. So what could you expect overnight tonight? Around 33 degrees, overcast sky, just a light wind out of the south at 3 to 5 miles an hour. Overall, very comfortable to what we've been experiencing really the last couple weeks of Arctic air here in central Pennsylvania. Now moving over into tomorrow, you see around 9 a.m., 35 degrees, a pretty comfortable walk to class. Again, we have had a lot worse over the last couple of weeks. 37 by noon. And once you get to the evening rush hour, maybe going out for a nice dinner tomorrow night, around 37 degrees, staying cloudy, maybe a few peaks of sun here and there in the midday, but overall it's going to be predominantly cloudy tomorrow. Now, as we look ahead to the weekend, a couple big stories here. The real big one is going to be the strong cold front that we're going to see move through on Saturday. Now, with that, we could see some snow showers likely. Not expecting too much in the way of accumulation here. In fact, we've struggled to really accumulate a lot of snow here, about 9 inches below average so far this season, with I think it was 16.7 measured season to date. So it looks like we're going to stay pretty dry for the most part this weekend. Colder, and then the coastal storm is still iffy. Some forecast models have shown that we could see some more snow over towards eastern Pennsylvania and the I-95 corridor, but not too much confidence in that right now. That would be Sunday, probably into Monday, so a nice maybe Super Bowl storm system. But as of now, still expecting it to stay cold and dry here, as you can see by the very cold Sunday. So it's going to be a nice weekend to maybe stay indoors, I think. Now, as you look at the 7-day forecast, some warm temperatures again on Friday, up to 48 degrees. So another nice day to get outside, maybe get a little run in or a nice walk. Because then behind that, temperatures start to plunge a bit. 39 on Saturday, and then the back half of the weekend for the Super Bowl, not any better. 26 degrees and possibly some light snow showers. And then even colder, Sunday night, 5 degrees. So bitterly cold once again as we get a fresh injection of that Arctic air into central Pennsylvania. Maybe a bit of warming as we head into the middle of next week, but overall, it's going to be a nice weekend to kind of stay inside, maybe watch some Winter Olympics. Speaking of the Olympics, let's head over to Destiny Sanchez with sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Destiny Sanchez with your sports update. Top-ranked Penn State wrestling conquered 6th-ranked Ohio State in the 2022 BJC duel last Friday. In front of a sold-out crowd, senior Drew Hildenbrandt got Penn State off to a fast start with a convincing win over Malik Heinzelman. Senior Roman Bravo Young showed out as well, pinning his opponent Brady Kuntz to put Penn State up 9-0. Penn State picked up 8 bonus points off of 2 pins from Bravo Young and Brooks and 2 majors from Lee and Kirk Folite. Moving on to Sunday, Penn State had another victory, defeating number 7 Nebraska to clinch the Big Ten regular season title. The duel was held in front of the 60th straight sellout crowd in Rec Hall. Wrestling without 3 starters, Cale Sanderson's squad remained unbothered. Penn State rolled up a 26-9 advantage, including a 10-3 margin in the 3rd period. Penn State remains undefeated, claiming the Big Ten regular season title outright. The Nittany Lions will host Rider University Sunday, February 20th in Rec Hall for the final duel of their regular season. Penn State men's basketball lost in another tight defensive battle, falling short by 1 point against Michigan Wolverines. With a final score of 58-57, the two teams shot a combined 12 for 55 in the second half, but the Wolverines held the heavy advantage at the charity stripe to seal the victory. Seniors Jalen Pickett and Sam Sessoms led the Nittany Lions with a scoring of 14 and 13 respectively. John Hara added 8 points on a 3 of 4 shooting and pulled down a team high of 7 boards. The Wolverines made 19 of 22 attempts from the charity stripe, while Penn State made 6 of 7 chances from the free throw line. Senior Miles Judd hit 3 3-pointers, including the last 3 points to bring the Nittany Lions to 57 points in the last few seconds. Penn State returns on the road Saturday night when the Nittany Lions travel to Minnesota for an 8:30 p.m. tip-off on Big Ten Network. The 2022 Beijing Winter Olympic Games kicked off Friday morning with the opening ceremonies. With USA at 1 bronze and 4 silver medals so far, there's so much to unpack. American skiing star Mikaela Shiffrin is out of contention for a medal in her 2nd consecutive event in the 2022 Beijing Olympics. Shiffrin, who wiped out in women's giant slalom on Monday, was one of the favorites in the slalom, an event where she claimed gold 8 years ago in Sochi, but she skied out after the 5th gate in her opening run and was eliminated. It's the first time she has failed to finish back-to-back technical races since December 2011, when she was 16 years old. Quote, "We came all this way, but we're not done yet. But GS and slalom, those were my biggest focuses. So it really feels like a lot of work for nothing," end quote. Team USA did add its 5th silver medal of the Games when free skier Colby Stevenson soared into the podium in the Big Ten Big Air competition. Meanwhile, Shaun White and Chloe Kim are making their 2022 debuts in the men's and women's halfpipe. White, a 3-time gold medalist in the event, is competing in his final Olympics. Some sports to keep your eye on in the next coming days are alpine skiing, cross-country skiing, speed skating, and snowboarding. That's all for sports. After the break, Amanda Wiseman will bring you the latest in the world of entertainment.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Amanda Weissman with your entertainment update. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and Chef Shane Orndorff has the perfect 7-course dinner that's sure to win your love. Shane and his partners recently formed Taste Food Services to support local farms and vendors, which is where all food will be from. The romantic dinner will be served on February 12th at 6:30 p.m. in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania at Titan Energy Park. Each guest will choose their entree and dessert, while the rest of the menu is pre-selected, such as the first course appetizer being beetroot tartare with spicy radish micros. All proceeds benefit Appalachian Foodworks, a non-profit food hub working to build a more equitable food system for central Pennsylvanians. Downtown State College just got a little sweeter. Elixir Coffee Shop opened its doors on West Beaver Avenue a little less than a month ago and has been a hit ever since. They offer a wide variety of handcrafted beverages such as flavored lattes and cappuccinos. Their pastries are freshly baked from local businesses, including their croissants, which are from the Cake Shop by Tati. Although it was bittersweet losing Saints, a beloved coffee shop that stood for over 2 decades, Elixir is doing a great job occupying the small shop and keeping that same cozy feeling within. If you ever need a pick-me-up, Elixir is sure to do the job. Rihanna has babies on the brain, literally. The Barbadian singer debuted her pregnancy alongside father-to-be A$AP Rocky in his hometown of Harlem, New York. She wore an unbuttoned pink coat that showed off her fairly new baby bump. She announced her pregnancy on Instagram and Twitter on February 2nd with the caption, quote, "How the gang pulled up to Black History Month," end quote. Her announcement was long awaited by fans ever since A$AP Rocky professed his deep love for Rihanna in a GQ interview back in May, saying that she was his person. Best of luck to the happy couple. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, Paloma Frunt will be speaking to Cameron Hightower about his involvement with the Penn State Black Caucus group. Stay tuned.
Good evening, I am Paloma Frunt, and tonight I have the pleasure of speaking with Cameron Hightower, the Public Relations Chair for the Penn State Black Caucus. The group serves as a central organization for all minority students and student groups on the University Park campus. Cameron, thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Could you tell me a little bit about Penn State Black Caucus's mission, such as what is the organization aiming to do for the students that it represents?
Well, Penn State Black Caucus is the university's umbrella organization for all minority students, groups, and clubs, and different organizations on campus. We aim to protect and inform other students about what's going on around the minority aspect of the campus, such as BAMS, Bella Saria, multicultural students having meetings, and also ourselves having different meetings and different events thrown.
Awesome. I was going to ask you, I think you and I can both agree during the past few years and now we're living in such a high and intense political climate, and I'm wondering, has this affected the organization in any way? And since you've joined, have changes had to be made due to the political climate we're living in? Well,
since I've joined the organization, I tend to see that we adjust accordingly to what's going on around us, especially politically. We definitely work with different political groups. We have a political action committee which works with different aspects of what we need to do to make change. But we also work with UPUA, which is a governmental group on campus. But definitely a big aspect was COVID. COVID definitely was a big change that we had to make, in an aspect where we had to keep moving things around, keep going to Zoom. And we like that in-person contact where people can feel and make friends and family through Black Caucus. So it was definitely a big change that we had to make.
Yeah, I was going to say that's definitely affected all groups. I can only imagine. Yeah. So we're speaking in a larger level. We're now in the second week of Black History Month. And I'm wondering, what is the group aiming to do to honor it? And what would you advise for students and overall the public who wants to take this time to support the African American community to do?
Well, definitely we have a Back to Black discussion coming up. It's basically the bridge of different multicultural students' cultures, because even though we're a multicultural group, there's different aspects that we don't know about each other, such as African Americans and Afro-Latinos or Asian Americans. We don't know what different aspects go into their culture and what do they do. So when we go into these discussions, we want to have an understanding, not an argument or a disagreement. We want to have a discussion. So to have that discussion, we have to bridge that gap. We have to have an understanding in what do they do in each group. So that's what we're planning to do this week. But next week we have a Sankofa discussion with Bella Sawyer Alliance Multicultural Students, part of the Communications Club. And that's kind of information we can't give out right now, but it's still a big thing that we're planning to do for Black History Month. Every Monday we have a Moment Monday where we state important alumni that made a contribution to society in the African American community. Last week was Wallace Triplett III, who was the first Black African athlete on the Penn State football team. And we basically just explained background information about them and what they did to make contributions to society. Definitely working with different clubs and different organizations on different events that we can work on during Black History Month, but those are like the main three.
I was wondering, since you were saying different groups and organizations, do you ever branch out and work with different Commonwealth campuses, or is it just very much based in University Park?
From what I know, it's very well based in University Park, especially when it comes to Black Caucus.
Awesome. And well, one of my last questions is, what initially, made you pick Penn State Black Caucus out of, all the clubs and organizations? We have thousands here for you to join. And what have you really learned, or do you have a significant experience that you had that you gave you a lesson that you want to take into the future, post-graduation?
Definitely. What made me want to join Black Caucus was actually funny, because it was the first organization I found out about on Penn State's Org Central. I was going through when I was a senior in high school, just trying to figure out what I can get involved in and what kind of fit me. And Penn State Black Caucus just stood out because I did want to get in touch with my community, but I also wanted to be able to reach out and grow my own character and find my own purpose. So while doing that, I felt like Black Caucus was the perfect fit because it was a good start to where you can put yourself in a comfortable and uncomfortable situation. And I feel like that's what a lot of students don't realize, is that Black Caucus isn't just the Black group on campus or the African American group. It's a family, and you really can figure out how to maneuver and what you can make out of that group to join other groups and get leadership positions also. So that was definitely how I joined Black Caucus.
Is there something, like a certain lesson that you would like to take with you that you have learned, through the friends that you've made and the experiences that you've had?
Definitely. Putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, like I said, just growing as a person. If you don't take that leap of talking to people in your group or understanding your culture, I feel like you'll never know how to handle the real world. And I feel like that is the opportunity Black Caucus offers to us as Black students and minority students on campus.
I think that's such a strong message, not only to the members of Penn State Black Caucus, but it's honestly to all organizations. Personally, I picked up this major 2 years into college, so I really stepped out of my own comfort zone. So it's I think it's a very positive message to send out to everybody. And it's really been a pleasure, Cameron. Thank you so much for coming in and really giving us insight as to the really powerful message and ideas that your organization is sending out to the whole Penn State community regarding acceptance and unity. After the break, we have the latest coming from across the country. Stay tuned.
One person is dead and 4 were injured in a shooting at a hookah lounge near the Virginia Tech campus late last Friday. Police responded to a report of shots fired at 11:53 p.m. at the Melody Hookah Lounge on Main Street in downtown Blacksburg, Virginia, less than a mile away from Virginia Tech's campus. Virginia Tech President Tim Sams said in a statement early on Saturday that one of the wounded individuals was a student. Police said the case is now a homicide investigation and multiple law enforcement agencies are assisting. The investigation is ongoing and police ask anyone with information to call in with tips. The names of the victims have not yet been released.
The North Carolina Supreme Court struck down newly proposed maps on Friday, forcing the GOP-controlled legislature to redraw the plans which would outline who will occupy the seats in upcoming May primaries. These maps would have redistricted voters in a way that gives Republicans control of the U.S. House seats for the state. This was a crucial win for the Democrats, as the GOP has held control in the state in recent elections. There has been contention in this decision, but Kerry Clark of the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters says that this decision will give North Carolinians, quote, a fighting chance at fulfilling their desire for climate action, end quote.
2021 will go down as the year with the slowest population growth in U.S. history. Both components of growth, including gains in immigration and an excess of births over deaths, has fallen sharply in recent years. In 2021, the rate of population growth fell to an unprecedented 0.1%. The latest report from the Census Bureau's Population Estimates Program showed a net gain of 244,000 new residents from immigration as 2021. As of December, immigrants represented 14.1% of the U.S. population, matching the peak of the decades-long immigration boom that began in the 1960s. In December, the government announced that 20,000 seasonal guest worker visas would be added to the allotment of 33,000 for the winter to assist employers in landscaping, construction, and hospitality desperately in need of workers.
Delta Airlines has asked the U.S. Department of Justice to help create a national no-fly list of citizens who would be banned from flying commercially in the nation. These people would have been convicted of unruly behavior on previous flights and banned from flying in the future. 2021 saw the highest spike in unruly activity by airline passengers, generally relating to the objection of mask mandates issued by the federal government. Although rates of such activity have dropped 50% since their peak since the height of the pandemic, there are still reports of flights needing to turn around due to passenger misconduct.
And that's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.